Alright, souls, welcome back to the Eclectic Soul family. Vlogging today, and I hope you guys are doing well. Today is Sunday as I'm filming this, and it's gorgeous outside. The sun's been shining this whole weekend, and I'm here for it. So, if you guys are ready to talk about some reading, because I love books, I love reading, and I love to talk about it. So, I'm going to give you guys kind of a rundown of some books that I have read recently, and then a rundown of the books that I am going to be reading for this spring/summer, because honestly, I've been in such a reading rut lately. Like, I've read not very many books this year, starting out. Life has been so crazy lately, and I just haven't had really the time or just the means to just sit myself down and start reading again. So hopefully this video is going to change that, and I'm gonna finally pick up a book. I know that we are all under stay home and all under quarantine, so I basically went to the library, which I can't go to the real library because my library is closed, and so I went to the library that you see behind me to start with talking about the books that I have read so far. Some of these books are just kind of books that I've had forever from the library, actually. I want to talk about this first book, and this is called Marlena by Julie Bunton, and I want to say that this is probably the best book I have read in a really long time, and like, I'm very picky about the books I read. This book, like, I kept thinking about it for days and days after I read it, and it's just, oh, I love this story and I love this author and I want more. Just to kind of give you a basic rundown about this book, it's basically, it takes place in like early 2000s, like maybe 2005, 2006, 2007, and it's about this girl who moves to like a small town in, I believe, Michigan, and she meets, her name is Kat, and she meets Marlena, and she's like this real wild child. She just kind of does whatever she wants, and it's basically just them going through adolescent adventures together, getting in trouble, first times, first boyfriends, first kiss, all kinds of stuff. And it basically, there's a bit of a mystery around it too, where like, yeah, I'm not spoiling it, I promise, but you learn that Marlena has actually died, and it's also like an account of like back then Kat's life versus like Kat's life now as she is an adult. And it's just one of those stories, it's like, it takes you back to when you were a teenager and like all the experiences you've had as a teenager, which, I mean, I was a goody two shoes as a teenager, so I couldn't really relate to these characters, but it was just kind of like, I don't know, it felt like I was reading somebody's diary, or it felt like I was reading like memories of somebody. I don't know. This is just a really great story, and it was just really fun to read. I should definitely check out Marlena. This is a great read. Okay, my next book that I read recently was the book that changed my life. 71 Remarkable Writers Celebrate the Books That Matter Most to Them. It was edited by Roxanne J. Cody and Joy Johansson. I hope I'm saying those right. But I dig books like these. I love to know, I'm a reader and I'm a writer, and to read like other famous writers and what books inspired them to write, or what books they love to read, like, it just kind of gives you an insight to certain authors' lives, and so many different like popular books I'm sure you've heard of if you're a reader, but like The Lord Have Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, The Catcher in the Rye, J.D. Salinger, let's see, To Kill a Mockingbird, what else here? Jane Eyre, all kinds of different books in here that I'm sure you've heard of, and some that I have actually. So you should definitely check this out, and I love this book. Okay, so my next book is definitely a quick read, and this is kind of it's a quick read, but yet a slow read. But it's The Best American Poetry of 2017. I know this was a couple years ago. I got this book back in March at the library to celebrate National Poetry Month in April, which is now, and I just kind of just been going through, and just when I want to read some poetry. So this is mostly just like a referential, not really like a reading book, so to say. Yeah, so there's so many different editions to this, and I don't know if they have a 2019 version of this. They definitely didn't have it at the library when I picked this one up, but I'm pretty sure they would have it like now. So let's get into the books that are on my spring list. This is probably the book that I really need to read because it's going to be due back to the library soon, like in like a week or something probably, depending on what the library decides to open back up again. But I have always wanted to read this book. I've always heard about this book, which is Where'd You Go Bernadette by Maria Semple. Semple, yes. I've heard about this book. I even think they made a movie with Cate Blanchett, which I would totally like check out, but I really don't like to see the movie before I read the book, unless I know it's not really going to be that great. That's what happened with Twilight. That's all I gotta say. This is basically about a very wealthy woman who she goes on a vacation with her family and she turns up missing, and I kind of started to dig into it a little bit, and it looks like it's written like it's telling the story through like emails and stuff, because like you can kind of see from so and so to Bernadette. I really like books like that. I don't know why, but so yeah, I'm really excited to read this, and I will definitely keep you guys posted on how it turns out. So I really need to get started on this one. Okay. Next, I'm gonna go with a book I have read before and I want to reread. I think I've read this book like 5 times already, and I don't care how many times I read it. I love this book, and that's Confessions of a Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. I hope I'm saying her name right. This is one of my favorite authors. I love Sophie Kinsella. I think she's just she's British. Number one, I love British culture, actually. Her stories are like set in London or England and stuff, and that's like one of my dream places to visit. So there's that. And two, like, her books are just like feel-good books. Like, they're about a girl who's like finding her way in life. A lot of them are love stories, and they're adorable, fun reads. And I'm sure you guys have heard of the movie with Isla Fisher in it, and I definitely have the movie because the movie's really cute too, and actually is one of the few movies that I like based off of a book. And yeah, this is just a cute story about a girl who's a shopaholic, and she maxes out all her credit cards buying really fancy clothes. She gets laid off of her job, and she has to take like a job at like a money managing magazine, and basically just kind of just finds herself in a way, faces her problems of being a shopaholic. And she finds love, of course, because they always do. But this is a really cute book. I can't wait to reread this one. Okay. Next, we're gonna go with Sarah Dessen, which I'm pretty sure you've heard. This is The Truth About Forever, and I honestly picked this book just based off the cover because it's very springy. So I really don't know what this is about, so we're gonna find out together. Okay. A long, hot summer. That's what Macy has to look forward to while her boyfriend Jason is away at brain camp. Days will be spent at a boring job in a library, evenings will be filled with vocabulary drills for the SATs, and spare time will be passed with her mother. The two of them sharing a silent grief at the traumatic loss of Macy's father. But sometimes unexpected things can happen. Things such as the catering job at Wish with its fun-loving, chaotic crew, or her sister's project of renovating the neglected beach house, awakening long-buried memories. Things such as meeting Wes, a boy with a past, a taste for truth-telling, and amazing artistic talent. The kind of boy who could turn any girl's world upside down. As Macy ventures out of her shell, she begins to wonder, is it really better to be safe than sorry? This sounds really cute. So I think this is going to be a great read. And like, honestly, I haven't read a young adult book in a really long time. And this book seems really great. I like a coming of age story, and that's definitely what this sounds like, with a little bit of romance in it. And yeah, I'm really excited to dig into this, and I will definitely keep you guys posted on this one as well. Okay. Next, I've got a book that I'm sure everyone in this world has read, and it's just such like legendary masterpiece type of a book. When I read this book in college, I was so enthralled by this story, and it eventually became a movie with Emma Stone, Viola Davis, and I believe Octavia Spencer, and of course, The Help. I have not read this book literally since I was in college, and I've been kind of just really want to pick it back up and reread it again, because it's just one of those stories you have to read over and over again. And I'm pretty sure you guys know the story, but I'm gonna tell you just in case you guys don't know. But it's basically about a woman, Skeeter. Sorry, I kind of forgot the characters for a second. Skeeter, who is an aspiring journalist, and she set in the 60s, like during like the civil rights movement, during segregation, and she eventually interviews the Help, which is these African-American maids that are working for all of her like friends, and basically their side of the story of what it's like to be the Help. And if you haven't read this book, please go read this. It is so good. I love this book so much. So my last book, I actually found this book at the dollar store. Folded Clock by Heidi Jolavit. I can't say her last name. Here we go. Yeah, this is also another book I have no idea what it's about, so we're gonna read it again together. Here we go. Like many people, Heidi. Oh, is this like a? Oh, I think this is like an autobiography. Hold on. Okay, like many young people, Heidi, the author, kept a diary. Decades later, she found her old diaries in a storage bin and hoped to discover the early evidence of the person and writer she's since become. Instead, the actual diaries revealed me to possess the mind of a paranoid tax auditor. Thus was born a desire to try again. To chronicle her daily life as a 40-something woman, wife, mother, and writer, the dazzling result is The Folded Clock, which is the diary form becomes a meditation on time and self, youth and aging, betrayal and loyalty, friendship and romance, faith and fate, marriage and family, desire and death, gossip and secrets, art and ambition. That's a lot. The Folded Clock is as playful as it is brilliant. A tour de force by one of the most gifted prose stylists in American letters. Whoa. I'm really taken by this book. I think I remember why I picked up this book to begin with, but it looks like it really is in diary form because it's got like dates and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, this is my book jam. I love reading coming of age, woman finding herself kind of stories. Like, these are my favorite kind of stories. I don't know why, but it seems kind of autobiographical, and that's cool. I mean, that was an added bonus, but yeah, I can't wait to dive into this book too. So, and this is a really pretty cover, by the way. Like, I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I really like to look at different covers. So, but anyway, that is my spring 2020 into summer 2020 reading list. I really need to get reading on these books, and yeah, I will definitely update you guys on the ones that I have definitely never read before and tell you how they are and if they're worth the read or worth the pickup. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Definitely give me a comment or a like or a subscribe if you guys like this video, and definitely give me a comment of what your favorite books are, what kind of books you guys like to read, or if you guys have a spring 2020 list. I would love to hear it. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. Bye, guys.